You know, I was actually, I just checked registration and I think we only had like 40 people register. I was actually kind of surprised because we had like 60 people register last month. And, you know, everybody who registers doesn't show up, you know, but it's, you know, it's like, I wonder if it was a sign like people are out doing things. You know, I mean, it is July. I think some people are taking little road trips and things like that right now. Although I don't know where you guys are from. I'm in Los Angeles and we're just put back on, you know, kind of full shutdown again. So it's a little disheartening. In fact, why don't we open up our chats? Everybody open up your chat and, you know, and let us know where you're from, you know, because this is a national call. So we get people from all over. I think we had somebody from, Alaska last time we were here. I'm like, wow, how'd you hear about us?
I'm all the way in Pasadena.
Oh, you're not far at all.
Orange County, and I'm just happy I passed my real estate exam in the first shot, so that's over and done with.
Congratulations.
Way to go, Rosna. That was Rosna, right?
That's right, yes.
Okay, good for you. Michelle, you're from Atlanta.
Yes.
Hot Atlanta, girl.
Oh, it's very hot. It's very hot right now.
Hey, now you guys were off of like shut down completely. Are you guys still open?
Well, no, they just decided they're shutting down schools. Schools usually starts around August 1st. So they're going to push it back and they're going to start online. And, but about businesses, I'm not so sure because I stay home. I'm not messing with anything. I mean, I just go to the grocery store with my mask and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Hi, Carol. Nice of you to join us. We've got a bunch of people joining. Farnoosh, Carol, Marilyn, Anna. Nice to see you guys.
Nice seeing you.
Thank you, honey. We're actually pulling up our chat, so pull up your chat and let us know where you're from. I know Shelly's from Anaheim, Rosna's from Irvine, I'm from Los Angeles, Michelle's from Atlanta. Got all kinds of people here. You know, I just want to say it's just top of the hour, so we'll give a couple minutes for people to be able to get on. Can everybody see a screen that I'm sharing that says WREN and so the adventure begins?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Yay. Yay. Mm-hmm. You know, getting used to technology sometimes, you know, it can be crazy. Kim, you're from San Mateo, San Francisco Bay Area. Nice. Very cool. Real estate's very different up there. It's amazing that we're in the same state and yet it's so different up there. Calabasas, Farnoosh. I like saying your name. I don't know why. Hi, everyone. Teresa from Highland Park, South Pasadena. Hello. Nice
Hi, Deborah. It's been a while.
I know, right? So bring your chat ups, guys. And, you know, I kind of really want to know what you've been binge watching. I'm all out of shows. I need some ideas. If you've got something good, put it in the chat, would you? Share it with everybody because, you know, we need some new ideas of what to binge watch. Yeah.
Check Gaia TV, GAIA. It has a lot of spiritual or, you know, a lot of yoga, a lot of
nice. Rosna, put it in the chat so I don't have to spell it because, yeah. Shelly Collins put Treehouse Masters. That sounds interesting. Fascinating for those of you that want to live in Treehouse. That's good. Elementary, Sherlock Holmes stories with Lucy Liu. Yeah, I've seen that. Oh, you know what? Now that I've seen that, Rosna, it's Gaia TV. I have seen that. I've been wanting to check that out. Kind of a spiritual and you know, yoga and meditation, which I think, you know I could use a bit of these days. I have a particular hike that I go on in the mornings. To be honest with you, it's not that strenuous. I say hike and I'm stretching it, but it's kind of my my sanity maintenance. It's out in trees and it has some nature to it. And I find that that I have, it's easier for me to maintain my sanity when I'm hiking in the morning. So we've got more people logging on. As you log on, please bring up your chat and let us know where you're from. And if you've got anything great to binge watch, that's wonderful. Welcome, welcome to the Women's Real Estate Network. As you can see, I'm sharing my screen, the Women's Real Estate Network, and so the adventure begins. You know, real estate is an adventure to me. It's always changing. It's always, you know, it's always changing. It's always evolving. There's always different things that you're dealing with. So yes, it's an adventure. I'm Deborah Razzo. I'm the founder of the Women's Real Estate Network. Thank you for taking your time out to be with me. I want to make sure that your chat's up because we'd love to hear where you're from or what you're currently binge watching. And I'm just letting people, we've got lots of people coming on the line right now. I'm going to give them a couple more minutes and then we'll start. And, you know, while we're at it, I just want to say that you might want to have a pen and paper handy or something ready to take notes on. You never know when something, that great big idea, something is going to spark that big idea for you. And you need to be able to capture it, right? Capture it and then take action on it. So make sure that you have something. And we're going to be going through a case study today. And I want to say that because I want to say that not all real estate models is for everyone. We'll present some things today, and some of it will be for you and some of it won't. Either way, do your own due diligence, consult your attorneys or your financial professionals before moving ahead with anything that we discuss today. I see that there's people logging on. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Bring up your chat and tell us where you're from. Hi, Nika, nice to see you. And Brooke from Los Angeles and Carolyn from Irvine. Oh, Lynn, hi, Lynn from Huntington Beach. And Nina from Glendale. Nice to see you guys on the line. Marilyn from Riverside. Great, thank you so much. Izichi, oh my God, hi, honey, thanks for logging in. From North Carolina. Miho from Portland, thank you for logging in. Jamela from Culver City. Jamela, yeah, I've got it right. I know you. Thanks for logging in, guys. Once again, welcome, welcome to the Women's Real Estate Network. We are going to have a little bit of time to socialize at the end of the presentation, for questions and answers at the end of the case study. But for the moment, if you guys don't mind muting yourself, I guess I could mute you, but it would just be easier if you guys mute yourself. If everybody can mute themselves, that would be really wonderful. And then we will take questions at the end of the case study. But before we start that, here we go. Mute. There we go. Cool. Once again, my name is Deborah Razzo, and I'm the founder of the Women's Real Estate Network. Hold on a second. And I am going to, Elizabeth, for some reason, I've got you in the speaker view. I'm not sure why. Let me see if I can pin. There we go. There we go. Yes, hello and welcome. I'm Deborah Razzo. I'm the founder of the Women's Real Estate Network. So I founded the Women's Real Estate Network a few years ago, and honestly, I didn't even know that I'd founded at the time. I was just looking for other women who were kick-ass that would inspire me to be around, and I asked a bunch of them to a brunch on a Sunday afternoon. And we got together and we had a little champagne with brunch and started, exchanging resources. Somebody needed a foundation guy, somebody needed an attorney, and we had a great time. Like, it was this open atmosphere. And I think that a lot of us have been to real estate events. And we all know they're predominantly male dominated, and I got nothing negative to say about that. I've learned a lot of wonderful things from male educators, But it's different when I see a woman who I identify with, who has the same worries and concerns that I do, who's juggling the same things that I'm juggling, and they're kicking butt in real estate. It's really kind of like, wow, you know, they inspire me. So I wanted to be around them more. So at the end of the brunch, I said, hey, do you want to get together maybe quarterly? And they were like, no, let's do it every other month. And so we started getting together, and there was usually wine involved. And for anybody here who's been to our in-person and networking events, there's usually wine involved. You know, we enjoy networking together, sharing resources, having fun, and making money. And so we started gathering on a regular basis. And then I thought, wow, there's these kick-ass women who all these other women that I meet at the events don't even know about, because usually women aren't asked to speak in the front of the room. Why don't we, you know, form a meetup in Los Angeles, and we'll just have these women come and speak? And so that was what we did. And the first chapter is our Los Angeles chapter. Woo-hoo, Los Angeles. And that's led by our esteemed Jennifer Maldonado. And then our second chapter was Seattle. And now we've got 6 chapters. In fact, we're just adding a 7th, and that's going to be Las Vegas. So it's just been like growing. It's been exploding. So we're really thankful for that. I wanted to give that little story because I think there are a lot of people here that are first timers. If you are a first timer, could you just put first timer in the chat? And I know that there are some people here that aren't first timers that have been in our organization for a while. So you guys, could you make our first timers feel welcome and just tell them hello? So if you're a first timer, just put first timer in the chat. And oh, thank you. Great. We've got a couple, Michelle, Miho, they're first timers. Fabulous. And Nina, that's great. So our mission at WREN, like just to give you an idea, our mission, ooh, whoopsie. Hold on just a second. Our mission at WREN, oh, by the way, this is our happy hour. What I want to tell you about our happy hour is this is our free event. So this is for women who maybe you've heard of us, obviously you've heard of us, and you're not quite sure what WREN is about. So we're offering this free event so women can get to know WREN and see if it's a place where they want to get to know more. Everything that is discussed here, we strongly advise you do your own due diligence, have your attorneys and your financial planners or whoever it is that is your team to check things out. And then we want to tell you a little bit about our mission. Our mission is to create a community where women in real estate will excel and empower each other, where we can share resources and experience and tools and help each other grow both personally and professionally. Why both personally and professionally? I'll tell you why. Because as you grow professionally, you have to grow personally. And as you grow personally, you grow professionally. It goes hand in hand. This game of real estate is kind of a head game sometimes. And it requires us to grow. It requires us to step out of our comfort zone. It requires us to step a little more into uncertainty sometimes. And that requires growth. And what WREN does is it offers support. It offers resources. It offers great education about how to do that. And we like to have fun while we're doing it. Because if it's not fun, man, what's the point, right? Like, so that's why that is our mission statement. We're founded on 4 pillars, and we love our little bird, as you can see. And our 4 pillars form our nest, N-E-S-T. Our N is for networking. That's what we're all about. We're all about networking, exchanging resources with each other, helping each other when we're in need. Education. You know, we invite strong business women to share their business models with us and also talk to us about how they juggle it all. How are they juggling aging parents and kids and their dog and whatever it is they have going on, and being a woman in this industry. For those of you that aren't familiar with WREN, it's only women speakers at the front of the room. You know, we want to empower women to be leaders, and there aren't enough women real estate centric speakers out there, and we want to give them that platform to grow So that's what we do. S in our nest is for skill development, hands-on training. We're just starting to get a lot more meat and potatoes in this in WREN. And T is for transformation. And that's like what I mentioned before. It's about growth. It's about transformation, not only growing your bank account, but growing yourself. And so that's our nest, and that's what we're founded on. Today, I get the privilege, usually it's one of our members or one of our chapter leaders that is coming to you and getting the privilege of sharing a case study. And today I get the privilege to do that, which I never really do. So so this is great for me. And it lets you guys get to know me a little more. So I want to share with you a case study that I have. What I'm going to ask you to do is open your mind a little bit, because this is not like your typical case study. I want to do something a little different. It's been said that great leaders ask great questions. Yep, that's what it's been said. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to talk to you about the power of asking great questions, and I'm also going to wrap a case study into it. So it's a little different than your regular case study. I'm introducing to you a principle, basically kind of a skill. And I want you to take that skill and learn how it applies to real estate and your real estate game plan. So I'm going to ask for two things here. I'm going to ask for you guys to open up your mind to a little bit of learning and the possibilities that it could bring. Are you guys willing to do that? If you're willing to do that, will you say yes in the chat? Tell me, are you willing to open your mind up to a little bit of learning? Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm going to ask you to participate. I'm going to ask you to get active in the chat and to participate so that we can kind of engage with each other. So here's an overview about the power of really quality questions. I want to talk about quality questions and that skill set first, and then I want to tell you how it applies to my real estate game and how it applies to the case study specifically. So what do quality questions do? Okay, quality questions allow people to find their own answers. All right, so here's the truth. Who here likes to be told what to do? Anybody? No. No, nobody likes to be told what to do. There's a huge difference between telling versus asking, right? When you ask a question, you're giving someone the power to think for themselves. They own it, so they're most likely to take action on it. The second thing is, great questions can change a person's state from pain to pleasure in a minute. It can open up the possibilities in someone's mind. Has anybody here been asked a question at one point and it just hit them? Like it hit them and it was like, wow, that was a great question. And it kind of changed the way you thought. That's the power of questions. It opens up the possibilities in people's mind in a snap. It's a quick way to open up different possibilities in people. And third, questions can access what a person's true nature and desire and needs are. So it leaves clues to the leverage to create change. You know, as real estate investors, we talk to a lot of people. And if you're at all looking at wholesaling or creative financing, that is really a people business, right? Questions, I need to sell this house. Why do you need to sell this house? Well, I need the money. What do you need the money for? You know, I need the money because I have medical bills, or I need the money because I want to move closer to my kids. Now, you know, when you ask those questions, you really get to access what the real problem is. And I think a lot of you know that real estate investors are actually problem solvers, right? So what's really amazing about questions is you can move somebody really quickly and by getting to know them by really three things that we gain from questions. And the first one is questions help you gain valuable information and learn about people, right? So remember that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? I mean, we've heard that, but questions really access that. So quality questions can access that in a great way. You can access valuable information and show how much you care. There are questions that build rapport, that build a relationship, right? So pay close attention to these questions because you might need some of them someday. These are rapport building questions. What brings you to this meeting? Tell me about your investing experience. Have you tried other ways to invest? What do you want to invest in? What's been most challenging for you? What is it that you want real estate to do for you? What would you like to do? Oh, what would you like to be? When would you like to be time horizon wise on that journey, right? These are really rapport building questions. These are questions that are going to get you into rapport and find out what the real problem is for somebody. So the second thing questions do is quality questions direct focus and open up possibilities. So great leaders know the power of asking great questions. So that is a focus, and that focus is critical in business. And I coach a lot of business leaders, and I'll give you an example. So I work with entrepreneurs, and under stress, some of them will ask their teams, why can't you get this right? Why did you do that? Now, these questions direct focus towards failure, right? They disempower their team. They lead to blame and excuses, and they don't use, and ultimately defeat, right? Compare that to other entrepreneurs who ask, how do we figure this out? How do we come up with a creative solution? How do we stay on budget and get this done, right? This directs focus towards success. It empowers the team to find solutions, to innovate, to use creative thinking, to solve problems and move forward. Now, who has a better chance of succeeding in their business? Ask a better question, get a better answer. More importantly, are the questions you ask in your business and your life leading to excuses and blame, or solutions and possibilities? Food for thought there. What's the third thing that we gain from questions? Quality questions allow people to find their own answers. I just mentioned a few minutes ago who likes to be told what to do, and everybody shook their head. No one likes to be told what to do. So when you ask people a quality question, it allows them to solve their own problems, to find their own truth. And when they find their own truth and come up with that answer, they take actions. That's what the power of questions has to do. Now, in this little pre-case study and little pre-case experiment here, I wanted to bring this up to you because it's not only about the questions that you're asking other people, but it's also about the questions that you're asking yourself. Sometimes the questions you ask yourself are not empowering questions, right? I'm going to present this case study and I'm going to show you the questions that I asked myself along the way. Some of them not so empowering because I want to give you an example of how that goes, right? So here we go. I live in Los Angeles, California, and I'm going to share with you this case study, and it's a flip I did in Cambria, California. And for those of you that don't know that geography, Cambria is about 3.5 hours away, all right? I met a woman, her name is Kim, and she wanted to have coffee with me. Her father had passed away, and she was left a house. It was a 2-1 in Cambria, California, and her dad was a collector. He was a collector. You know what that means, right? A hoarder, yes. And and her house, the house was filled to the brim with stuff. And honestly, a lot of the stuff had an emotional impact on her, and she didn't want to deal with cleaning it out. So the first question I asked, how can I help? She said, I don't want to clean it out. I was wondering if you wanted to flip it, or could you help me sell it in the condition it's in, maybe to a wholesaler. She needed to figure out her tax basis first. And so I connected her with my accountants, and we went to the house. This is it. This is the house in Cambria. 2-1, very dated. Oh, there's where he collected the stuff. Yes. Here's the living room. Here's the kitchen. But you see out that window, it's just 2.5 blocks from the beach. Can you see the beach out there? Can you see the ocean? Interesting. So it was in a pretty good location, 2.5 blocks from the beach. And although it was congested with stuff, I thought it might be a good opportunity for somebody. And I considered flipping it myself, but with my schedule and it being like a 3.5-hour drive away, I dismissed that idea. I put it under contract and I sent it out to my network of wholesalers. And we had some bites, but not at the figure that Kim was really comfortable with. And she was disappointed, and so was I. And then I realized maybe I'm not asking myself the right question. How could I flip this so that it could work for me? Right? My initial objection was that it was too far for me to get there. The time in getting there and getting back, I just didn't have that. So I started thinking maybe I should seek out a partner, and I could tag team with her. I wouldn't have to be up there full time. She wouldn't have to be up there full time. I gave it away. I did partner. So I started seeking out partners, and I knew that neither one of us would have to be gone full time. And the next question I had to ask myself was, would you be interested in partnering with me? Yes. So I found somebody that would be interested in partnering with me. Oh, and then how do I make the numbers work? You know, is it going to be a 50-50 partnership? You know, how's that going to go? How do I make the numbers work? So after that, I realized that, oh, sorry, let me just stop on the numbers for a minute. So I needed to make the numbers work. And I thought maybe Kim, my friend, didn't need all the money right away. Oh, we're getting some, can I ask you guys to mute yourselves? Oh, here, I'll mute you. Mute. Okay, so I thought, you know, maybe Kim didn't need the money right away. So I asked a different question. So I said, Kim, how would it be if you seller financed for me? And she said, yes. So now all I needed was some rehab money. And I asked a friend if they could lend me $80,000 at a 10% return for 6 to 8 months. And the answer again was yes. So was that all the questions? No. The rehab hasn't even begun. Okay. So I'll tell you what happened. We started the rehab and we found out we had some foundation issues. We invited several companies and asked many, many, many questions. And we figured out all the different ways that it could be fixed, and we landed on one. So what we didn't understand, or we didn't know at the time, is that there were not a lot of vendors to choose from in this small town, small beach town of Cambria. So we were working with craftsmen who were very expensive, and they ran 8 to 12 weeks out. Like, we would call them and they would say, well, we can't even come out to look at your property for 8 to 12 weeks. Well, my partner and I were like, we want to have it flipped and back on the market in 8 to 12 weeks. That's not going to work. So we asked ourselves a different question. How can we get materials up here and installed quicker and cheaper? And what we did was we came back down to LA to our regular vendors, and we purchased all the materials. We rented a truck and we drove the materials up to Cambria. We found some laborers up there that were able to install in a much quicker time frame and much cheaper. We even did deals, like we have a regular flooring guy in Los Angeles, and he was willing to come up and do the install for a week at this beach house after it was done. Was that a good deal for us? Sure. Right? So we got it complete. So my partner and I split our time there, and this is the completed work. This is the front of the house. This is that kitchen and that same view that you saw all that stuff in. There's the living room, which I don't know if you can tell, we chopped down a tree so you could actually see the beach now from our living room window. The bathroom that we redid, more of the kitchen. And here are the numbers, right? We purchased it from Kim for $400,000. Like I told you guys, we had the rehab money, which was $80,000, and we sold it for $640,000, right? After our closing costs, 2 escrows. Oh, and by the way, we could not work on the house because it was pretty much a total gut. So we also had to rent another house for about a month while we were up there working on the house. So we had holding costs as well as another house rental. We cleared about $88,000, which was split into my partner and I, which was about $44,000 each. So that is the end of my presentation for our case study, and I'm happy to take questions. If anybody has questions, let me stop the screen share. Whoopsie. I'm going to stop sharing right now and go more gallery view, and feel free to take yourself off mute and let's just chat, because this is the time when we all get to know each other. And great. Parisna.
Yes, that was an amazing story. And I had to look up Cambria. I'm like, where is it? It's just south of Hearst's Castle. Is that right? It's not too far.
Yes, it is. It's beautiful, but it's little. It's very small.
Small little quaint town. Amazing story. Thank you for sharing that.
It's actually that one flip that I still wish I held. Right? It's like, yeah, the beach house would have been great right now.
No, seriously, that was beautiful. And what a great turn of events. My question is about seller carrying the cost. So she had no hesitation. I mean, how did that particular dialogue formulate into, okay, great, let's write it up. And then what did you do? Because I'm sure you've done, maybe, I'm guessing, in your years of experience, you've done seller carrying the financing, but how then did it transpire into you protecting yourself, her protecting her?
Absolutely. Great question. Thank you for asking.
Mm-hmm.
I presented, so I told you that we had sent it out to wholesalers and we weren't getting the numbers that she was hoping for, right?
Right.
So we were both a little disappointed. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll go ahead and do it. And the truth is, the number that she wanted was a little higher than what it would be normally, what most wholesalers were actually willing to give. So what do you learn in real estate? It's either price or terms, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, she really wants this price. Mm-hmm. So what I did is I started talking to her and saying, look, if you could take these terms, if you could actually finance it, it was already free and clear. Her father had left it to her free and clear. If you could actually finance it, and I'll actually pay you interest on the financing with the price of the property and the interest, you're actually going to make more, right?
Then had she sold it to the wholesaler at?
No, she actually just financed it. So she went from owner to note holder.
The note holder, yeah.
So how did we do that? I wrote up a contract, or you can have your escrow company. As long as the escrow company is familiar with these types of transactions, you can have your escrow company help you with the contract. But then we go to an escrow company, because it is like, I was actually legally taking it in my company's name. She was literally selling it, right? And we were figuring out the terms and how it would close, right? But because she was holding the note, and because she was going to be getting interest on that note, she is actually making more money, putting more money in her pocket in the long run. So for me to talk to her about it and show her that that's how it was going to end out, she was actually more open to it. Now, is everybody open to that process initially? No. You know, it takes some time because, you know, people are used to the general way of buying houses and selling houses. You list it with an agent, somebody makes an offer, you know, then you go into escrow. There is that feeling though of saying, look, this is the deal we're making and then we're going into escrow, right? It gives a sense of certainty and security to anybody who's doing it. And there's, you know, everything is up on the table. Escrow is legally bound to make sure, you know, everything works out equally as per the contract. So yeah, there is some education to be had for anybody that you're working with to do that. But once you get that going and once you run out the numbers and you say, well, with these terms, you can actually, you know, make more money. Now, with these terms, I can actually make more money. Why is that? I'm not having to go to a hard money lender and pay 10% on that money. That was, you know, that was a first, you know, a first position loan, and she gave it to me for 6%, right?
I was going to ask you what
So she got 6% on 600,000. That was making her some money, right? I only had to pay 6% instead of 10%. That was making me some money.
Yeah.
And when you show them that, like, okay, can we do this and both be able to win? You know,
Sure. 6 months, right, Deborah?
Yeah.
6 months was the note carry time. Nice.
Yeah. I usually do my notes with a 6 month and a 6 month option just in case, right? Because we thought we would be out of there we thought we'd have the rehab done in 3 months, and it actually took us a month longer because of our foundation issues. So then we got it on the market, and then you never know how long it's going to take on the market. So I usually do my notes with 6 months and then a 6 month option.
Nice.
So, and then that was my first, you know, and, you know, just so you guys know, it's really powerful to be able to do things like that. I once heard someone describe notes and property and cash, right? There is a dance between those three objects, notes and property and cash, right? So they all represent cash, but it's all in different forms, right? Sometimes your cash is in an asset, right? It's in a house, it's in a property, it's in something that's tangible. Sometimes your cash is in your bank account. And sometimes cash can be in a note, right? It's an intangible object that still says it's a promise to pay, right?
Yeah.
So there is a really great fine dance between those three objects that if you are just beginning your journey, you should definitely look into, you know, knowing how that works.
Thank you for sharing. Can I just piggyback on that and ask you one other question, then I'll remove the mic. My question is about, would you ever suggest that there's a time not to propose seller carrying back? Like what's a scenario you could think of where you'd say, you know what, maybe they're about to lose it to the bank. It's a pre notice of default status, like they're not there yet. Would you not propose seller financing? Like if you could think of an example, when would it be that you would say?
Right. Yeah, okay, I have a couple examples, right? Sometimes, you know, you mentioned somebody owing more to the bank. Sometimes when somebody owes more to the bank than would be worth it bringing current to you, right? Because if you buy something, you'd have to bring everything current, right? So if those interests and taxes and fees, whatever it is that's owed, is more than what's worth, what the property is worth, more than that cutoff price on the property, yeah, I'd walk away, right? I mean, because let's just say in this instance, let's say 600 was my max, right? And I was like, I can't go over 600 because I know I won't get a profit on the other end, right? So if somebody owed the 600, but they also had penalties and taxes, and maybe even they didn't pay their property taxes and had another lien. I mean, you guys have, you know, you have to do your due diligence on the house and find out what liens are on that property, right? And that would be, you know, another 50,000. Would it be worth it to me? No, we'd have to figure out some other way. So, yeah.
Makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Does anybody else have any other questions? Take yourself off mute if you do. Sure, Miho.
How did you find the seller?
Where did she
Kim.
come from?
So she actually was somebody who came to REN events, and she also, I ran a cash flow game here in Los Angeles, and she came to my cash flow game. So we had started just establishing a relationship and talking. And so when she had this problem, she came to me to discuss it and find out, you know, what she could do, what her options are, right? Yeah. So she just actually said, could you have coffee? And I said, sure. And then when I got to coffee, I was like, so what's up?
Do you find a lot of your deals off market like that?
Yeah. You know, establishing relationships has been, you know, that's, you know, that is really what has helped me accelerate my business faster. You know, doing great business with people, whether it's helping people out who have properties, or whether, you know, I told you that I was able to go to my network and say, is there a person here that I want to joint venture with that has similar experience to me as far as flipping experience goes, and that I'd feel comfortable joint venturing with, right? So I had to really kind of like, okay, who's in my network to do that? And then we went into our network and said, okay, we need $80,000 in rehab. Who in our network might be willing to do that, right? So, you know, as you grow as a real estate investor, and hopefully your network grows at the same time, because that network will help you not only become resourceful in the sense of being able to call, you know, somebody and go, you know, like, I have a problem with a foundation. Who do I call? You know, whatever. But also like in coordinating the deals and getting the deals, you know, in being that resource for somebody to come to and go, I just inherited a house and I don't know what to do with it, and I'm overwhelmed. You know, my dad died and I'm overwhelmed by the amount of stuff in here, and can you help, right? To, you know, I need rehab money, and I'm looking to, you know, utilize some other people's money. Everybody hears OPM, right? Other people's money. But, you know, when it works out, like if you had $80,000 right now and you wanted to lend it to me, and it was like, it was a second on a house. So it's guaranteed by the property, right? And I'm willing to give you 10% a month on your money. I don't know. For some people, that's like a really good, like, what are you getting having that money sitting in your bank account right now? Is it 2%? No, I think it's like 1.5.
Yeah.
Right. So for somebody who isn't going to go out and find, you know, a flip to do or something like that, who wants to just be able to make some money on their money, it's a really great opportunity. And it's mutually beneficial, right? It benefits them. They're getting paid well for the money that they're contributing. It benefits me that I can have the money and I don't have to float that out of my accounts or something else.
Sure.
So, yeah. So,
Thank you.
yeah, I'm all about networking. But then again, you know, that's what I find very valuable in my life. Anybody else have any other questions? Oh, yeah, Nina.
I'm very new, like in the real estate investing. So I'm kind of lost.
Sure.
Like where to start with. It seems right now the housing market is really still really hot because I guess less of the inventory, lack of the inventory. So seems that it's not really, I don't know, it's the right time to invest, or I'm kind of really don't know where to start and how to start.
Yeah. So let me just speak to a couple different things that you said there. I'll speak to, you know, being new and where to start, and then I'll speak to the housing market in general. I'm going to speak to the housing market first because I follow a lot of people who invest in real estate and study economics. My theory is hang around smarter people than me. That's my theory, right? I want to learn from smarter people than me, right? And so I listen to and study a lot of people who study, you know, those graphs intently. And here's, here's my thought, and I'll just go broad by saying, Warren Buffett says, when there is any kind of recession, when there is anything going on with the economy, and there is downturn, then there's going to be a sale. And I know those terms because I'm a chick. Sale works for me, right? So in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, so just take it for what it's worth, we have gone through, a lot of economic crisis. I'm going to call it crisis right now, in the last few months with COVID, the layoffs, the unemployment, everything like that. We're not going to see what the results of that are for several months. We know that there's something happening, but how it plays out is going to be different. And I think that this is just the pebble landing in the water, and then the ripples are going to continue, are going to come out. Right. And the ripples are going to be economic ripples. And I believe in those ripples, there's going to be sales. So I believe in any market, you can find good deals. And some markets are harder than others. But I think in a market that we've got coming up, there's going to be sales. And I want to be ready for them. Right. So that's my 2 cents on that. I need to mute somebody. There we go. So let me talk about just getting started. And it's really funny you should mention this because this has been on my mind a lot lately. There have been a lot of women that have been coming to me about getting started, and I'm actually thinking about doing a course. And this is why, because women do investing different than men, right? Like I could say, so-and-so has a course, so-and-so has a course, so-and-so has a course. And you know what? They're mixed, and we think differently. I don't know about any of you, but I know I think differently than most men I meet. almost every man I met. I jokingly, I just a little bit about me. I'm 56 and I just remarried this time last year. I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary, and God bless my husband. He totally makes me laugh. And I'll say something to him and he'll be like, yeah, I wasn't thinking that. Like, think simpler. Like I'm like, okay, simpler. Anyway, we don't think the same. And I think women, statistically, I'll just tell you because, I study it. Statistically, women do better as investors than men. Can you believe that? Yeah. And it's because we go into detail and we're a little more risk averse. But statistically, not as many women invest in men. And why is that? I'm going to say why. It's because of confidence. I think that it doesn't matter where you've been in life or how many degrees you have, or if you've started from the bottom and worked your way up somewhere. Somehow we lack a confidence sometimes when we're venturing out into something new, right? And so we need a little more tribe, a little more something to get us going, to pull us over the edge into investing, to make us feel a little more secure, right? To know that we have, I don't know, I'm just going to speak for me, to know that I have a strong network of other women, and I think there are some women on this call that can attest to that, to call up whenever I have a problem and go, oh my gosh, something just happened, and I don't know how to deal with it, and to have other people go, oh, call so-and-so, or I know somebody who can handle that, or I've had that to happen before, do this, right? I've found that women are more open to sharing and helping each other grow than some of the men I've come in contact with. And I'll just tell you, I moved from flipper to developer about 2 years ago. I've just finished my first developments here in Los Angeles. I've got 2 fourplexes that I've done, yay! And we're just leasing up right now. And I was in Seattle at a WREN meeting, and there was a developer there, a woman, her name is Lindy. And I said to Lindy at the meeting, wow, you're a developer. That's super cool. I never meet women developers. Like, how did you start? And she said, well, you're a flipper, right? And I said, yeah. And she goes, I used to be a flipper. Developing is so much easier. And I said, what? And she goes, well, there's a lot of work, a lot of very detailed work on the front end until you get your plans approved and everything. But then when you start building, you build ground up. And if anybody here has ever flipped, you know that when you get a flip, you're inheriting, you don't know what kind of problems, right? There's a lot of things that go into problem solving and flipping. And the point of the matter is she opened my mind up to me being able to do it too, right? And I'm going to say that I've never met a man developer who has said, oh, you're a flipper, you can do it. It's so much easier. So that's just my experience. But yeah, that's what we're about. I am being really horrible about the chat box. Where in LA are your fourplexes? I've got one over by USC, which has been really interesting because our initial plan was to rent those out to students. Oh, USC, no go. So we're renting them out, and we've had to adjust our plan a little bit, but it's still going to work out. And the other one is in Koreatown. And then I also have a property that I'm working on doing a lot split on in Tahunga. And then I also invest in some other things too. I have some multifamily in Tucson, Arizona, and I invest with another syndicator to do some storage units as well. And I'm just going to tell you this, for those newbies that are on the call, I want to say that, you just start somewhere, right? And you start to make some steps and you acquire some skills, and then you take on something else and you acquire some more skills. And then you take on something else and you acquire some more skills. And then pretty soon some of the skills start to complement each other, right? So, I haven't done, like all of this didn't happen at once, right? It's been a journey and a process. And like that first screenshot says, and now the adventure begins, right? So, it's just about continually moving forward in your journey and in your process, and a willingness to step into uncertainty sometimes and know that I've got this, and if I haven't got it, I've got some phone numbers of some women that have. Why Tucson, Arizona? That's a great question, Ruby. Because I have trusted people there that I invest with. Very, very trusted people. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ken McElroy. He's one of the rich dad gurus, and he has a company called MC Companies. And really, Ken is a genius at added value for apartment complexes, and he is incredibly smart at property management. And I have some single families in Memphis, Tennessee. And I'm just going to tell you guys, some of the things that I've done to increase my education, right? I bought a single family in Memphis, Tennessee, and I had a property manager on it, and I bought a second one and I hired a different property manager. And so many people say, at one point I had 4 single families with 4 different property managers. Now, this was complicated, right? And it would have been easier to put all 4 with one property manager, but I didn't do that. I made a conscious choice not to do that. Why? Because I needed to know how different property managers worked. I had no education on how to deal with a property manager. So when one property manager would call me and say, there's a problem with this, blah, 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 and I'm like, well, how do you think we should fix it, blah, 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 blah. And they would say, well, blah, 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 blah. I would call the other ones and go, hey, what would you do if something like this happened? And then I would find out like either the same answer or different answers. And then I would go back to the first one and be like, hey, had you thought of blah, 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 blah. And once again, like everybody thinking it's my idea, but like I said to you, at full disclosure, I try to hang out with people that are smarter than I am to not make this so complicated. But I knew I needed the education, right? I knew I needed the experience. And so, when you're just beginning, you need to look at things that way. And, one of the other things I'm just going to say to you, Nina, is you need to know what your outcome is. I often tell women that they need to have their own personal investment philosophy. And when this was told to me, I was like, what is an investment philosophy? I don't even know what that is, you know, but what it is what's my outcome? Why am I doing this in the first place? Is it for passive income? You know, is it for active income? What do I need a little bit of both? How do I do that? You know, you need to figure out what you need and where that trajectory is of where you're going to get that. Because there's a lot of things in real estate. You could learn a lot of different things and never do anything. And that's not the point, is it? Right? Yeah.
I have a question. I was wondering that, you know, I mean, it would be good, and I'm just thinking out loud, it would be good for like some of us beginners or whatever, we can like have like a group investment or something, like few people together, and then like follow an example of like a couple of expert ones to kind of learn by doing and getting involved. If that would be great if that would be possible.
Thank you for that. You know, with COVID, WREN has come from an in-person networking company to an online networking company, and although we totally believe in in-person networking, believe me, I can't wait to hug some of the ladies I haven't seen in a while. I know. I see you, Nina. And Ruby too. But the truth is, we've been reaching out to our membership to find out what it is we need, right? Our environment has changed. So I really appreciate you speaking up and letting me know. I have a document that I've been accumulating ideas and interests in, and I will fill that out and put that in there, because I think that something is needed for women who are starting out, for sure. Right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's too big that it's hard for us to take such a big chance. So maybe we can, you know, invest small money, but then like few of us.
Yeah,
and then
something
like
that breaks it down.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much. We'll work on that. Is there any more questions? Oh my God. I didn't realize I had talked away. So let me just give you just a little more information. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Let's see, share that. Oh yeah, one more question. What will you do to propel yourself forward this year? Yeah. So that's my last bit of questions. I just want to tell you, because I know a lot of you guys are on this call for the first time, WREN does have a membership, and it's pretty minimal priced. It's $195 for the year. And we have a portal, a membership portal, so you get to put your member profile up. We have local and national connections, both with vendors. We have discounts on not only events, but vendor discounts. And then we have free access to events that we're having both locally and nationally. And then we're just getting together our education platform. And then for members only, we have community calls. And for members, we have preferred seating at our in-person events. Yeah, so it's great. Right now, this is our list of chapters. We have Los Angeles, Orange County, San Diego, Phoenix, Seattle, and Atlanta. We just added Washington, D.C. and Las Vegas. And then we just now, because of COVID, added a virtual membership so that people can access the portal and access the support. Oh, this is me. And then here's our connect with us. So we have a Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, and a YouTube channel. The YouTube channel has a bunch of stuff up there. Some of it education, some of it testimonial, but go subscribe, because we are actually putting more and more of our education up there. Oh, and then this is the other thing I wanted to mention to you. Next week, we have our monthly meeting. And for anybody who's on the call that's a member, it's free to members. And then it is $10 to anybody who's not a member. And it's multi-units to multi-millions. We have a woman who just specializes in investing in multi-units, and she's going to walk us through a case study. So the case study is going to be how she found it, what she did due diligence-wise, how she financed it, what she did property management-wise. and this is a woman who actually has been involved in WREN in our Seattle chapter for about the last 2.5, 3 years. And she went from fully employed to being fully real estate investing professional. And I will stop sharing, and I will put the link to that in our chat, and let you guys know that. Another question, can we discuss out-of-state investing and storage sales process and strategies? Yes, we had storage units. We had that as our monthly meeting about 2 months ago. And so we had experts come in. It's two women, they're Aaliyah and Terry. They own 16 and they just acquired 2 more. So they now own 18 storage units across the US. And they've been doing storage units for quite some time. They just spoke with us. And so they won't be coming back to speak for a little while because they just spoke. But if you become a member, you have access to all of that stuff, and I can show you where. A Zoom meeting about out-of-state investing. Just out of curiosity, because I'm doing my research right now. Regarding out-of-state investing, like what specifically would you want to know? Like how to pick the market? What do you want to know? Tell me.
How to pick the market, and how, once you pick the market, what's the next best step? Do you collaborate with X person? What do you do? And what if you have some exposure? So I'll just get right to the chase. I'd like to do my first out-of-state investment in the Atlanta area. I have family there. My father lives there. Not for a sense of him managing those properties, but my father and brother, you know, so I've got some exposure there in terms of it's not so cold. I've got someone that's there, but not on the real estate sense. So my thing would be pick the market, and then who do you leverage first?
Great. So I do out-of-state investing simply because I can get better returns in other places than I can get in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot more details to go into that, and I will try to put something together on out-of-state investing because I get asked that a lot. So we'll try to put something together. But I'm going to give you like my short, quick answer. Baby, give good phone. That's what I got for you. I'm telling you, this is what and it was a strategy. Like my strategy with property managers, it was a strategy, and the strategy was, I cannot be there to meet this person for coffee. Right? And you know how much information is conveyed in a one-to-one meeting, right? Mm-hmm. I cannot do that. I cannot be there to take this person out for a drink, right? Cannot do that. No dinners, no lunches, right? So you better give good phone. And that means I'm asking them, what did you do last weekend? Really? Where is that in Memphis? Really? How many kids do you have? You know, like I'm forming connections on the phone.
Okay.
Consciously, right? Because you got to know who you're investing with. Oh, it's 1 o'clock. Okay, here's the deal. We're at our time, and I need to go, and everybody needs to go. How do you build your dream team? Opportunity zones. We do have a speaker for that. She's an exceptional woman, and we'll be meeting. Hopefully you guys will join us next Wednesday. Let me get that link. Is anybody interested? Hold on, let me get that link. So stay if you're interested. I'll put the link in. And then if you're interested or have any questions about membership, please stay. Otherwise, we'll see you guys later. I miss you guys.
So Deborah, I signed up for Wednesday next week, but I'd like to join as a member. You said something about virtual. So is virtual different than the 195? Is it combined?
No, virtual is the same. It's just not associated with a particular chapter.
Okay, cool.
It's just that. Okay, so hold on. Just let me get that link so that, yeah, this would have been a good thing to prepare beforehand, right? Oh, Lord is me. Anyway.
Details. Is there a reason why it would be beneficial to join virtually rather than connecting with if I live in LA, connecting?
Oh, no, I would strongly suggest joining LA if you're in LA. It's just that women are starting to know about us in places that we don't have chapters.
I see. Yeah, because I have friends in Houston, and I'm like, oh,
right.
I love this
We have
group.
a meetup in Houston, but we haven't found a chapter leader there.
So,
oh, wait. Well, I can
yeah.
possibly help with that for
Oh,
sure.
cool. All right.
Yeah.
Send me the information. I'm at
Okay.
drazzo at, yeah, here we go. drazzo at reninspires.com. There is the multi-unit information in the chat. And so if anybody's interested in that, go register yourself. And we would see you then.
And is for membership, is there any, do you have to have any recommendations or letters or anything like that? Or just, it's just an easy $195, you just join?
The easy $195. So
Okay.
let me get that link for you while I'm in my link area. And that is that.
So in Houston, you have a group, but you need a leader.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on.
All right.
Here is the membership information. There we go.
Great.
And like I said, you can email me drazzo at reninspires.com, or you can email info at reninspires.com, and somebody will get back to you. But if you need to reach out to me, reach out to me.
Awesome. Great.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Any more questions?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Deborah. It's so
Keep
easy
doing
to
what
know
you're
your
doing.
name.
Hey, Deborah.
Hey, Ruby,
Thank you. I appreciate you.
do you have a baby bump?
Yeah, let me show it to you.
Sorry, but Ruby had our first WREN baby, and now she's pregnant for the second time. Oh, baby bump! Oh, I want to hold the baby bump.
I know, I don't get all those like touchy
You don't
hands.
get all my rubs. Oh, I'm glad to see you here.
Glad to be here.
Anybody need anything else?
This is
Lala's
great.
here. Cool. Well,
Thank
hopefully we'll
you.
see you soon. All right. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Happy Friday,
Phone is
everyone.
going off.
Happy
Okay.
Friday.
Have a
See
great
you guys
weekend.
later. Happy Friday. Celebrate.
Hey.
Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye. Bye, Nika. How are you?
Hi, good. Yeah. I thought you wouldn't be here. I figured you'd be on the train.
No, my phone is like going crazy. I've got to go, but
Yeah.
I told them I needed this time off. So
Right.
I'm a trainer for Tony Robbins, so I'm doing his online event right now. By the way, it's fabulous what he's doing, and I've got so many great ideas for Ignite.
Oh, good.
I can't
Excellent.
wait. It's going to be so cool.
Yes.
Anyway,
All
all right,
right.
honey, have a good
Enjoy.
weekend.
Have fun.
Thanks, you too. Bye.